Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about, weird but powerful ways narcissistic parents trigger their adult children and how those triggers impact their life. I mean, the adult children's life. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So these narcissistic parents are expert in installing trigger buttons inside of you. These narcissistic parents create multiple versions of you inside of you, yeah, and they summon those versions with trigger buttons that they install, yeah. So a submissive version of you, yeah, the trigger will be guilt oriented, yeah. The uh, angry version of you, that trigger will be shame, yeah. So they are into creating multiple versions of you inside of you, yeah. They create it by installing certain trigger buttons. They create it by treating you in a certain way, yeah. And these trigger buttons become your identity, yeah. As how time pass, it becomes who you are. You start functioning based on your triggers and not your rational mind, yeah. You stop using this and you start reacting to the triggers. You keep looking out for triggers and you start reacting on triggers. That becomes your identity and personality. So this is how narcissistic parents damage you, solely to control you and extort things out of you. The first and the most common way these narcissistic parents trigger their adult children is by telling them, or by commenting on their voice, on their tone, and on their expression. So if you're expressing yourself, they're going to tell you, what's your tone, lower it down. If you're expressing yourself, they are going to shame you. They are going to mock you. If you are voicing out your feelings and emotion or what's going inside of you, they are going to criticize you and shame you, yeah. So they basically, rather than welcoming, rather than accepting and appreciating your expression, they start gaslighting you. They make you second guess yourself in every conversation, and because of this you are scared. Every time you are thinking 10,000 times before uttering or reacting or expressing or saying or voicing out things. Yeah, you just don't want to be seen as rude, yeah. You just don't want to be seen as disrespectful, yeah, because every time you expressed yourself in a natural manner, you responded in a natural way, you were gaslit, you were shamed, criticized, blamed, yeah, punished. So with time, just think 10,000 times before uttering anything, 10,000 times before expressing, yeah, because who knows, it might hurt my narcissistic parent and they might find it offensive, disrespectful, rude, I mean, bad, yeah. So the best thing is to keep my mouth shut, or else I'll think and then I'll respond, rather than being my natural self. I will think and then I will respond. Not that thinking is bad, but you don't have to think for responding naturally. That's the question. The other powerful way narcissistic parents trigger their adult children is by bringing up, their adult children's, childhood mistakes. Like, it just happened yesterday. Yeah. And, because of that, I mean, if you're constantly reminded of your childhood mistake or whatever you have done in the past, mistake or errors, or if you got into some trouble, wrong decision whatsoever, they are not going to let you forget. They are going to keep you reminded, and they're going to remind you in a way as if it just happened yesterday. And because of that, you start over apologizing in life. Yeah, I mean, even though you have not done wrong, but you will over apologize. I'm so sorry. I hope this was right. I hope this didn't hurt you, na. I hope it's okay. Is it all right? I'm so sorry. Yeah. So, you are just scared. Yeah. Because they keep you reminded of your past mistake and error. And, because of that, a part of you is shit scared, to be seen as wrong or flawed. You just don't want to be labeled as wrong, bad, flawed. No, I want to be seen as a good boy. I want to be seen as a good girl. Yeah, I don't want to be seen as someone who's wrong. Yeah, because they keep you reminded. So the best thing is over apologize, become an open book, let them run over you, and that's it. So these narcissistic parents, they have their own ways to trigger you. Yeah, they will trigger you, by bringing up your childhood mistakes. Have you forgotten you used to waste this much of money, you used to waste this and that? And you automatically feel guilty, you feel ashamed, when they keep bringing your past mistake. I mean, we all do mistakes, and I think we should learn from our mistakes. That should be the culture, that should be the new normal, that mistakes are normal thing. We learn from our mistakes rather than demonizing mistake. It's high time that we make mistakes as a stepping stone rather than demonizing mistakes. So these narcissistic parents are going to trigger you, and as a result of which you will get into that spiral of over apologizing, over explaining, and all because you don't want to be seen as a bad person, you don't want to be seen as flawed individual. The other way narcissistic parents trigger their adult children is by acting overly sweet in public and cruel in private. Yeah. And because of this, you struggle to trust kind people, genuine people, and you think kindness um, always hides an agenda. Yeah, because your role models are unhealthy and toxic, and you are seeing that they are another you know weird shapeshifters. At home, they are treating me like shit. Outside, they are treating really good. And as a result of which, you stop trusting good people also. You start doubting kind people. You start doubting their intention. Maybe there must be some hidden agenda, because you are treated in a certain manner at home, and that is affecting the way how you're perceiving things. That is affecting the way how you view things. Yeah, how you are perceiving situation and scenario. Yeah, and as a result of all that you're getting in the house, or the way how you're treated by your narcissistic parent, you find it difficult, yeah, to believe that someone can be kind. If someone is kind, you're like, there must be some hidden agenda. I don't believe this. There's got to be some reason, some hidden agenda. Yeah. So narcissistic parents have their own way to trigger you, and it starts from the childhood. They treat you in a way that a child should never be treated in, and then that becomes your baseline, and that becomes your reality, and you start operating you know and viewing and perceiving things from that point. The other weird but powerful way narcissistic parents trigger their adult children is by telling them, I was just joking. After hurtful comments, they're going to really pierce your heart, shame you, hurt you with their vile and nasty comment. And when you respond, they're going to tell you, I was just joking. Oh, come on, you were a small child. Oh, come on, stop being oversensitive, stop overacting. I was just joking. That was just a joke between mother and son. That was just a joke between father and daughter. Yeah. And because of that, you start doubting your own feelings, your emotion, your response. Yeah, you start, wondering if you are actually too sensitive in everyday life. I mean, what is it? Am I actually overreacting or am I oversensitive? But you're not. You are just being honest. Yeah, but you have been trained to ignore your own honest response. You have been trained to ignore your honest self. Yeah, and it's fascinating that you start doubting your own response and feeling and emotion. You start questioning your own self. I mean, if she's saying that I'm overreacting, am I such a person? Am I actually overreacting? Yeah, they do gaslight, but you also start gaslighting yourself. You also don't spare yourself. You abuse yourself in their absence. Yeah, and the last powerful way these narcissistic parents trigger their adult children is by comparing their children to others solely to shame their children. Yeah, and this creates a toxic need to compete, leaving the child burnt out and never feeling good enough. Yeah, so they are going to trigger you by telling you, you have got no idea, look at their daughter, she's done so much, look at her son, he's done so much. Yeah, and then you get into that rat race that I need to compete with her son, I need to compete with his son, I need to compete with her daughter, his daughter, I need to compete with their niece and this and that. And it really burns you out, it really exhausts you. Yeah, and you by default start feeling not good enough. If I don't have any competition, I feel bad. If I don't have any competition, there's something wrong. Yeah, so you also look out for competition. Yeah, you get so used to it. They are, of course, shaming you, criticizing you to control you. They are constantly comparing you. And because of that constant comparison, you start liking more of competition. You get addicted, you get used to that, becomes your new normal. You have to keep competing with this and that and that and this. You are never relaxed because you're constantly competing, either from here or in real life. You're just competing with every other person, yeah, solely to get some kind of validation. I mean, of course, all what we get is crumb, but yeah, I mean, validation, approval, appreciation from a narcissistic parent. And that drains us, that burns us out. Yeah, we are exhausted. Yeah, and we develop this feeling on the inside that there is something wrong with me, I'm not good enough. Yeah, only if you're not good enough, you have to keep competing with XYZ. Yeah, whatever your narcissistic parents compare you with, you have to get into the rat race and compete and outperform and prove your worth to them. You have to keep proving your worth to them. Yeah, and only then you'll be given some love and affection, and all of it is crumbs. So yes, these are some of the ways how these narcissistic parents trigger their adult children. And these triggers, they keep affecting and influencing the adult children's life. I mean, even when the narcissistic parent is long gone. In case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.